Hi, good morning, everybody. We from Group 1. I would like to present a, present a presentation about political executive. Topic: the definition of executive, the role of executive, characteristic of political executive, how to get position of how to get position as political executive in Indonesia, Soekarno, and last Soekarno as the first political executive. Definition executive, we have two: broad form and narrow form. Broad form. In a broad form, it includes all the government functionaries, political personnel, and civil servants who take up the implementation of policy and laws, and also the administration of the state. Narrow form. In narrow form, it includes only executive heads, that are to say ministers. They are also known as a political executive. These people are heads of government and other key departments of government. They are also responsible for formulating policy and supervising the implementation of such policy. This does, this does not include civil service or its administrative function. For the political scientists, ideally, only the narrow meaning of executive was accepted, but with the modern changing dynamic, but with the but with the modern changing dynamic of state governance, civil service are also included as part of executive along with the political executive. The Indonesian political system consists of three branches: executive branch of Indonesia, legislative branch of Indonesia, and judicial branch of Indonesia. Executive branch of Indonesia. Executive branch consists of the president, the vice president, and the cabinet. But the president and vice president are chosen by the Indonesian electorate. Third presidential election. They serve for a term of 5 years that can be extended once by other term of 5 years when re-elected by the people. Hence, the total is 10 years. Legislative branch of Indonesia. Indonesian legislative branch is the People Consultative Assembly, Majelis Permusyawaratan Rakyat, abbreviated MPR. It has the power to set or change the constitution and appoint or impeach the president. The MPR is a bicameral parliament that consists of the People's Representative Council, Dewan Perwakilan Rakyat, abbreviated DPR, and the Regional Representative Council, Dewan Perwakilan Daerah, abbreviated DPD. Judicial branch of Indonesia. The highest court in Indonesian judiciary system in the independent Supreme Court, Mahkamah Agung. It is the final court of appeal and also deals with disputes between lower court, a relative new court established in 2003. is the Constitutional Court, Mahkamah Konstitusi, which monitor whether decisions made by the Cabinet and Parliament (MPR) are in line with the Indonesian Constitution. A judicial commission, Komisi Yudisial, oversees the maintenance of honor, dignity, and behavior of Indonesian judges. There are frequent reports claiming that Indonesian judiciary institutions are not free from corruption and are not fully independent from the other political branches.
Okay, thank you Akil. Now I will explain about executive role, head of state and head of government. The first as head of state, number 1, holds supreme power over the army, navy and air force. Number 2, appoint ambassador and consul. Number 3, respect and maintain regional language as national cultural asset. Number 4, caring for neglected children and the poor. Number 5, developing a social security system for all people and empowering the weak and underprivileged according to human dignity. And number 6, responsible for the provision of proper health service facilities and public service facilities. The second as head of government. Number 1, holds governmental power according to the Constitution. Number 2, establish government regulation to enforce the law properly. Number 3, passing a bill that has been mutually agreed to become law. Number 4, submitting the state budget bill for further endorsement to the GPR. And last, appoint and dismiss judicial members with the approval of the DPR. Okay, the next presentation will delivered by Nadia Alvita Rahma.
Okay, thank you, Fatin. In here, I will explain about characteristics of political executive. Characteristic of political executive. Political executive are temporary executive. Unlike civil servants who are elected for a permanent commission, they have to be re-elected after the end of their tenure by way of election. Their role largely depends on whether or not their party comes to power again or not. Although there are no set educational qualifications to become a minister, yet there are certain criteria that a candidate ought to fulfill. The role of political executive is very crucial. It is the frame of things. There are ministers and ministers are expected to form policies and law that will be used to govern the states. A minister or a ministry is responsible for forming such laws and then presenting the same to a legislature. The legislature, after deep scrutiny, decided whether or not to pass a law presented by the political executive. In conclusion, once the laws have been approved by the legislature, it falls on the executive to implement and govern it efficiently. The type of executive agency is divided into two, namely: first, an hereditary monarchy, namely a government whose head of state is elected based of this can. An example is England, with the election of the head of state from the royal family. Second, an SMO monarchy is the head of state, usually the president, who is elected by the legislative party or electoral body. The executive board system is divided into two. First, parliamentary government system. Head of state and head of government are separate. The head of government is led by the prime minister, while the head of state is led by the president. But the head of state here only function as the symbol of a sovereign state. Second, presidential government system. Head of government and head of state are both held by the president. The next topic will deliver by Fatin Arla.
Okay Nadia, thank you. Now I will explain about Sukarno, the first president. Since the information of the National, the Archive of Independence, to the ongoing process of developing the state and national, Sukarno played a major role. If supposing is allowed as historical review, even though Sukarno was not destined to be the head of state and government, according to the 1905 1945 Constitution and the head of state alone set the res ud and the 1950 Provisional Constitution. His name will remain in the memory of the national history. How will the hard fact of history be forgotten that during the colonial period, Sukarno was the leader of the national movement and the most influential thinker of national and state issues. The life he had to go through in prison and exile was a confirmation of the validity of this historical fact. It is true, Sukarno was not officially elected as president, not by the MPR nor by the people directly. However, when his name was mentioned as president, at that time the support of the people from all social groups emerged. He became president without a tearing campaign. So, Sukarno's presence in the empirical history of the nation was deeply embedded in the consciousness of the national history. If only the history of the national movement and the struggle of independence were a piece of literature, Sukarno's presence would be a complete of romantic poetry. That's all our presentation today. Thanks for your attention. Do you have any question? Wassalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh.